Diplomats serving at the American embassy in Moscow were very concerned about Soviet spying. Even with all these security measures in place, the Soviet secret police were somehow able to listen to the American ambassador's private conversations for years, completely undetected. The thing was created by Leon Theremin. They were constantly sweeping for bugs. In the 1920s, Theremin was touring the world showing off his invention. Eventually, he set up a lab in New York. Theremin was churning out inventions, but in 1938, he suddenly disappeared. When Leon Theremin suddenly and mysteriously disappeared from New York in 1938, it was reported that he was executed, but eyewitnesses said that they saw him talking to several tough-talking Russians who encouraged him to return to the Soviet Union. In Russia, Theremin was put in a Siberian gulag and given a choice. He could work a gold mine, or he could work at a Sharashka, which is a secret lab for detained scientists and engineers. At the secret lab, Theremin was tasked with developing new surveillance technology to bug the U.S. Embassy and the Spaso House. Theremin invented the thing, the first resonant cavity microphone. The microphone was attached to a small antenna, which could broadcast radio waves. But radios need power to broadcast, and that's why the thing is so unique. It didn't have its own power source and wasn't connected with wires. Instead, it was activated externally. And when the Russians knew an important meeting was happening at the embassy, they would park an unmarked van somewhere close by, and then using a strong radio transmitter, agents could activate the thing's antenna remotely and listen to conversations at will. Once the thing was no longer illuminated, it was completely inert. Now, this was genius, cutting edge, and highly effective. And that's why it operated for years, undetected. In 1951, a full 6 years after the thing was installed in the American embassy in Moscow, a British Army radio operator was randomly scanning frequencies coming from the Moscow airport. And suddenly he heard what sounded like an American conversation. Now, as he tuned the signal, he realized he recognized one of the voices as the British air attaché. Now, completely by accident, he had tuned into the KGB frequency. Now, he alerted the embassy, who conducted a full bug sweep, but they found nothing. Then about a year later, another operative was scanning Soviet military radio traffic when he picked up a conversation in English that seemed to be coming from the Spaso House. The new ambassador, George Kennan, called in a special anti-espionage unit to perform a sweep, but this time they focused on radio traffic. Kennan went to his office and pretended to dictate an important message to his secretary. The American radio techs switched on their equipment and picked up the signal almost immediately. It was coming from something very close by.